listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Awake After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Awake After Show.
Yay! Woo!
Yeah!
We have the giggles tonight. So, hi everybody. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing yet another episode of Awake Season 1, Episode 12, Two Birds. I am your host-ish, Anna Koppel, here with me tonight.
Is Kristen Carney, your non-hostish?
And right here is Sean Overman.
And Lauren Turner's not with us tonight, but she's with us in spirit. So, hey, Lauren.
I know she's out there watching.
Yeah, she is.
Maybe she'll call in and give us some cool news and gossip.
Maybe she will. Who knows? But if she's not feeling well, we understand. Anyway, so just a quick reminder. Wherever you're listening to us, whether you're watching right now, streaming live on AfterBuzzTV.com, or you're watching on YouTube, or you're listening on iTunes, you're getting it for free. So all we ask in return is that you rate and comment us. It really helps us get more exposure on the internet, helps us bring you more shows, and it's just beneficial for everybody. So without further ado, Sean, what are we doing tonight here?
Oh, we have a very exciting show. I must say this episode of Awake was so exciting. The best one, obviously.
You were like a giddy high school girl.
To quote Indiana Jones, I was giddy as a schoolboy.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
So-
make love to a schoolboy.
So we're gonna talk about quite a few things. Our usual stuff. We're gonna talk about the red world, talk about the green world. We're of course gonna take a little bit of a break. After that, we'll talk about the doctor's advice. A very little bit this episode, but we'll talk about it nonetheless. Overall, what has changed, what's happened for Britain in his two realities, and any clues that crossed over. We'll do a little plug for Gamefly.com. After that, we'll do some news and gossip, and we'll do some predictions as well.
That is a detailed
Yay.
upcoming list.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
good. I like that.
Okay, so where do we want to start? We want to start in the red world, maybe?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start there. Okay, so here we see Lee. He's refuting Britain's statements. Obviously, Britain is, throwing his conspiracy theories.
We're talking about Dr. Lee.
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Lee, yes. So we see Dr. Lee refuting Britain's statements that there's this whole conspiracy going on, and he thinks that everything was just imagined, So we obviously, we went to the green world too, but to bring it back to the red world, Britain wakes up rudely after being knocked unconscious in the green world, and he meets up with the bird, his former partner in the red world, who's the lovely guy with the mustache.
Right.
And we do love him.
It was
there.
like a Zorro style mustache.
Yeah, I liked it
yeah.
actually. It was pretty cool. It looked pretty distinguished. I like him
Yeah.
better with the mustache.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
prefer bird without the stash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. Rate and comment, guys. Bird with or without the stash?
Which do you prefer? Yeah. So he eventually contacts him. He lets him know like, hey, I need you to help me out. And then Britain meets up with Bird, and he says like, hey, I need you to help me betray Hawkins, pretty much your new partner.
Hawkins, who is the little guy
Yes.
and who has a face that terrifies Kristen and I. Mm-hmm. Nightmares. Mm-hmm. He's a frightening looking man.
Yeah. Well,
It's
that's
perfect for the part.
That's why
He
he's
is.
a villain.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's that scary small guy who you don't want to mess with because he'll come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He'll
He'll
hide
pop
under
up-
your bed.
All
He'll
small
pop-
guys scare me.
He'll pop up in your back seat.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Good call back.
Yeah. So though he all right, what happens next? So what's going Oh yeah, so after that it goes over to Hawkins is actually taking snapshots of Britain and Bird meeting.
Right.
And obviously he goes right to the big cheeses. He goes to the captain and he goes to Carl and
Carl Kessel, who happens to be captain of the Western Division.
Yeah, and that was something big that we discovered.
We find out,
this time. That was very amazing. And
now, how was Hawkins on to Britain that him and Bird would be meeting up? Did we get that information?
Yeah, I think it was just inferred. Like it was kind of like just like that.
Hawkins
sees him leaving. He's like, it's kind of suspicious.
Right. He was just he had it was more of a gut premonition kind of thing.
Well,
in a
he
way.
also told Bird told Hawkins that he was going to help his mom like fix a pipe or something. It was really random.
Something stupid. Like that. Like,
right.
Good job, Bird.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
So
we all know your mom's dead. Like it's clearly a lie. His mom's not dead.
Yeah. So back to that little powwow that Captain's having with the other Captain Kessel and Hawkins, their go-to guy. He's pretty much their gopher, right?
Right.
So she actually sticks up for Britain initially, which is pretty cool. But then eventually, it's 2 against 1. So she agrees. Okay, let's go ahead and start getting at him again. Let's take him out, whatever. And let's see. We then jump to where Bird actually is now tasked to get the computer file onto that flash drive, and it was a pretty good distraction, right? It was kind of funny.
Yeah, he did a good job. He thought quick on his feet, but Hawkins didn't buy it at all.
No.
He knew he was doing something, but I'm surprised that he didn't think to check his computer.
Yeah.
I thought Hawkins would be onto him, that he was going. I have chopsticks as I'm doing this. I don't know why. I just thought Hawkins would know. Looked like Bird was over in my cubicle area. I'm gonna just snoop around and see if he did anything.
he probably couldn't see that far.
Yeah, but he was already onto him.
He can't see over the cubicle.
Right. Exactly.
Right. He came in on stilts.
I don't know about you guys, but when I'm at my office, like during my day job, and I work at a computer, I like to log off every time or lock my computer. So I have a password.
What are you
for that.
doing on there?
So, no, it's actually company policy.
But
like
remember, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So, what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
But remember that Britain found out the password. That's why they were meeting in the park, so that he could hand off that information.
Yeah, that's right. He did know but he knew the password for that file. Not necessarily for the computer, unless he had the same password for the computer and the
He
file.
seems like the type who would.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, he handed off some sort of information that would be able to hack the computer and get the file, and so there.
Yeah, so he was able to do it, and it's funny how the files take forever to download, right? Like during TV shows.
Right,
movies.
1990.
Yeah, like it's
Mission Impossible, circa 1996 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it's convenient. It's good for it allows the characters to talk, for a little bit, have a dialogue.
Yeah. 86%. He's coming down the hall. Oh, yeah.
Taking those little steps, taking them longer to get down the hall. So
this by the way is getting increasingly prejudiced, and I'm really enjoying it.
So I love Hawkins. I love
little people.
I love that guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. And he's actually not that low. He's just I'm sure he's just a short dude, like 5'4", 5'5". I don't know his exact height.
He's a short guy who was on the verge of being a midget, but just got lucky enough, or he missed it.
He has that weird
He has the
dwarf
look
face though.
Well, he has the look of a midget, but yet he's not a midget. Okay, anyway, this has nothing to do with the show.
So
do we want to run the views here?
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily
go.
reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Yeah, we're right though.
We got Ronnie in there, by the way. Ronnie, thank you for plugging those little sound effects in there.
Yes, and I love little people, so there's the balance there. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I mean, I do. I adore little people, so.
Who doesn't? Who actually hates little people? Like no one's prejudiced against little people.
Well, they're so cute.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So getting back to the show. So Britain sees Francis, that Google guy. Again, convenient though. He's got a friend who's like a Google hacker expert guy. And you brought something up when we were off air. It was pretty funny. What were you saying? It reminded you of?
It reminded me of the scene in Ace Ventura where he says, password. He's like. New England clam chowder. Is that the red or the white? It looked exactly like that setup
really
to me.
did.
It was like in this basement dungeon, and then you go in and they're all hackers.
Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
It made me smile.
Good point, Kristen. It did remind me of that. Of course, once you said it.
Yeah.
And
All I had to say was New England clam chowder, and you knew exactly what I meant.
And I love that line too. Me and my buddies, we say that all the time.
Yeah, ever since high school, we've said that line.
It's hilarious. But and actually, as I was thinking about that scene too, it also reminded me of The Matrix a little bit because Neo's like a hacker and he's like, oh, he's got his chain on his door, not letting people in, whatever.
Right.
And then we go in there and then we see like, oh, there's actually like 6 hackers.
It's like a lab.
Yeah, there's not just one dude in there.
Right.
So that was pretty amazing. Yeah. They cracked the password. He's able to use that, and let's see, Britain ends up getting. Let's see. Good distraction. What happens? Oh yeah, so he ends up. How does he end up seeing? Oh, he goes to see Bird, right? And Bird's dead, sadly.
Right.
Okay. He has the new information. Bird's dead, and Hawkins is there. Hawkins is like, oh, I'm gonna make this story up, and you're gonna be dead, and then everything's gonna go on, and I'm gonna get my money from all the narcotics.
The perfect plan.
It's the perfect plan, but
why do bad guys always reveal the plan before the kill?
Right. Don't reveal the plan.
Yeah, right. Just shoot him.
What is this?
Britain should have, when Britain walked in there and saw Bird dead, he should have taken cover immediately because someone's going to still be in there. Someone's going to be around the corner with a gun. And you're a trained detective. You need to be ready for that. Because, we did see him get shot. Yeah. So, which could lead to some sort of a demise.
He's off the job, though, right now in the Red World.
That's right.
So he's not armed and
good point.
All those things.
Yeah.
And Hannah hit his other gun.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So all he could really do is hide.
Yeah. Hide and grieve over the loss of his friend.
Right.
Like, I don't know, what would you do? Would you, if you saw your actual friend, like your guy who's your
fetal
partner,
position
right away. Okay, so so the writers could have taken it a different way.
Right. Yeah.
So then he gets shot.
Mm-hmm. He gets shot
and
while he's running away.
Right.
And we saw a lot of blood leaking out of that stomach.
Yeah, it didn't look like too much at first, but then when they get to that alleyway where he's still being chased, holy crap, man! That was a total gut shot, man. It probably like pierced a kidney or something.
So I don't know if I think you said it, but what happens if he dies there?
Yeah.
And then we've got those. Okay, so we now still have the other reality going on. What happens then if he's dead in one?
Right? And then he goes to the green world.
Yeah.
Right?
So we see him, kind of lose consciousness, and he goes back into the green world.
That's right.
And we pick up where Bird is in the car with the computer, and he's telling him the password's tulip. Just trust me, the password's tulip.
Yeah.
Do you guys know where you can get both computers and tulips?
You can actually get them on Amazon
through AfterBuzz.
Yeah. It's so true.
Wow.
That's right.
I was just telling my friend, Nick Porter, who lives in Boston, was telling me that he actually used this. That he went onto AfterBuzz TV and click in the upper right-hand corner and where it says Amazon, and it just takes you right there. And you don't have to type in any special codes or anything, and it doesn't cost you anything.
And since you love us so much here at AfterBuzz, you probably have AfterBuzzTV.com in your browser already. So just hit A, and it's going to come up AFTER, and then you click, yes, that's what I wanted, AfterBuzz, and then all of a sudden there's a link to Amazon.
Absolutely.
It's so quick.
It's like magic.
It's so easy, and because you guys love us here at AfterBuzz, it's a great way to support us, and we thank you guys for doing that. So just go to AfterBuzzTV.com, click the Amazon banner, and go ahead and shop, and there you go.
And my friend Nick Porter from Boston will tell you. It's easy. It's easy as pie.
Yeah,
right.
And you're feeding starving children like us. So
yeah, we are starving here.
Yes, because we are children. That's right.
Yeah,
that's how young we are.
I wish in my dreams.
Boom, green world, computers, tulips.
To the green world.
Full circle.
Yeah, so in the green world, a little bit before that, we see actually Evans counseling Britain, and it's pretty interesting because at first she's supporting him like she usually does, and then she starts to almost go the same way as Lee. She's like, "Oh my gosh, well you're making this up, and it's all this blah blah blah. It's like your mind is contorting and distorting things." So yeah, that was pretty interesting. It was the first time we see Britain this unkept. Right?
Yes, yeah. I liked it, and I thought I said the word fervor while we were watching it. I love that word. I wish that we saw this fervor from him because a few episodes ago I said I want to see him break down. I want to see him unravel.
Right.
And this is what we're seeing here, and I found it really endearing and very enticing because when you see a guy who's usually put together, and all of a sudden he's unkempt with the scruff and he was wearing a fleece instead of like a suit coat.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you want to know what's going on in his head. It makes it deeper. It makes it more I don't know. Relatable,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. He's not that stoic detective that he used to be before.
Right.
Now he's got like that frustration in him. He's got more of that anger.
Right.
He wants to solve everything.
And when we
now.
see those behaviors, the frustration, the anger, we know we're going to get somewhere.
Yeah.
We know
Right.
something's going to happen. So if they did it every episode, I mean, maybe they wouldn't have been canceled.
Yeah, I think you're right. What actually this reminds me of a lot is, and I wish, like you said, Kristen, I wish the episodes were like this before, and it totally reminds me of this one show back in early or late 2006. I think it was early 2006. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's called Daybreak, and it was on ABC back in the day.
Oh, I heard of it, but I never watched it.
Yeah, it was a really good show. It was really similar to this. It was starring Taye Diggs, and the premise of the show was that this guy's a cop. He's an LAPD officer. Kind of like Britain, but Taye Diggs' character, he actually ends up waking up every day, and it's the same exact day. And there's so much stuff that's going on within that day that he can explore so many different routes and options. You know, it's almost
That's
like
cool.
a video game.
Yeah.
But if he gets hurt, it actually carries on to the next days, which is kind of different and interesting.
And how long did that show last? Was it
That
just a
was
season?
actually, that was canceled too.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
canceled probably on like episode 7 or 8 or out of the 13 episodes
Right,
that they
right.
had, you know.
Yeah.
So again, it was, you know, it's like a great show too, but that one had a lot more fervor, like you said,
Yeah,
and it was a
yeah.
lot more furiously paced kind of show.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like how the concepts or the premises of these shows can be so strong and yet doesn't pick up or hang on to an audience. But
Yeah.
but anyway, back to the green world.
Yeah, back to the green world. So obviously he's unshaven, you know, Britton is going out there, he's telling Rex to, hey, you know what? I want you to go to your grandmother's, get out of LA. I'm gonna take care of some business. Right?
Right.
So he says, then he actually, we go to Bird, and Bird is like trying to call him up, right? Britton up, and then he checks up on him. He looks into his garage, and he sees like all the evidence that's like posted up.
It reminded me of A Beautiful Mind, when like all the crazy like newspaper clippings and everything that he
yeah.
had in like his weird cabin in the woods,
Yeah. Or like Memento.
or like Memento.
Yeah.
It reminded me of things, you
A lot
know.
of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw things
I love how you guys
before.
are like Memento, A Beautiful Mind. I'm like Ace Ventura.
Yeah, a lot of crazy, cool characters.
Yeah, very deep.
Yeah, detective-like characters. They have those.
I was gonna mention Scooby Doo earlier, but I didn't. 'Cause anyway, yeah. So then he goes to Dr. Evans because he's very concerned, and Dr. Evans, I don't know, was a little sketchy of both
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She obviously gave up the information to Bird because, you know, Bird, you know, obviously went from there. But what do you think? Do you think she should have given the information? Do you think it was necessary for Britain's better good? She said, you know, if you're going to do something, you better do it now.
Yeah.
And so she felt a sense of urgency, like he's on the border of losing his mind completely.
Yeah, she was in that gray area. It's like, I'm not sure if he's going to hurt somebody or himself.
Right.
You know, so I'm going to imply this to Bird.
Right, without actually kind of spilling the beans.
Mm-hmm.
But
It is a therapist's legal obligation to
What?
alert authorities if their patient is going to hurt themselves or others.
Right.
So,
Yeah. But in this case,
that's why my
I guess-
therapist reports it like every week.
oh dear.
Oh no. And she's in here with us.
I know.
You know, I feel pretty safe. You know, she's in a favorable world with us because she
She
likes
does
us
have
here.
these like two like sharp objects, and I'm sitting next to her. But
Hey, are those green and red? How
Yeah.
funny is that?
That's why I did it.
but look at her notes. Can we get like a shot of her notes? They're the worst. They're like, she, like
Hey,
one note.
It's simple and to the point.
Right.
Exactly. Good justifying that.
And I'm here. I'm like typing. Like,
Yeah.
look at my notes
Why-
on my iPad. I'm
Why,
like,
why do
oh
you think
my
you're
gosh,
hosting tonight,
look at all
Sean?
that.
Why do you think you're hosting tonight?
So you know, after that, you know, Bird, he ends up. Let's see what happened. Oh yeah, okay. So we see Britton in Hawkins' house, you know, and he's got nothing to lose now, right? He's out sick, and it's interesting because he got fired. Remember, he got fired or suspended rather in the Red World.
Right.
And I wasn't thinking about that like in the Green World. Like I thought he was also in suspension. That's why he was all unkept or whatever. But
Right.
he was just taking sick days.
right.
right. So that he could chase this guy.
Yeah. Put his plot together.
Right.
So he corners Hawkins, and Hawkins gets shot in the leg. And
He shoots Hawkins
Yeah,
in
he
the leg.
he shoots Hawkins in the leg, and Hawkins spills the beans, and he's like this close to giving him the password, and and then they scuffle and whatever.
Bird comes in.
Bird comes in, interrupts, and then that's where we get to the point where they're in the car together.
Doesn't
kill?
I'm sorry. Doesn't he kill Hawkins?
Yes, he does.
Right.
Okay. I like how Bird's line in that scene where Britain tries to explain.
Oh, it's self-defense.
Self-defense. And he's
That
like,
was
well,
so
you were
funny.
in his house.
Yeah.
Yes, that was so funny. I wrote down that
Amazing.
line. He came after me.
Right.
You were in his house.
Right.
That was great.
Yeah.
One of the great little humorous lines in there,
Yeah,
comic relief for that serious situation.
They did good with comic relief in the
Yeah.
show. They,
Writers were really amazing, I must say.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to the writers, y'all.
Woo, that includes Leonard Chang. I'm not sure if he wrote this episode tonight, but
It was he didn't. It was
didn't?
it was someone else.
still great writing.
Yeah,
Especially in this
Good stuff.
episode.
Kyle Killen, just as a side note, has on his Twitter profile, the last time I looked, his bio is like writer of that show that got canceled.
Yeah.
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 You can tell he's pretty hurt about it.
You know what's actually funny is there was another show that got canceled before Awake, and it was called Lone Star. It was on Fox.
It was
I
his
have
show.
lots
Yeah, it
of
was
news
his
and
show.
gossip
Yeah.
about that
Oh, you
tonight.
do?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll talk all about that.
Cool.
Let's do that.
So,
I actually liked the scene with Hawkins and Britain in the house. That was actually a really powerful scene. It was pretty good, and it was the first time we've seen Britain that desperate. Where
Yeah.
he was, like in that situation where he's actually going to hurt somebody.
Right.
He blew away he shot him in the leg, and he's about to blow away both his kneecaps, threatening
Right.
him with that.
Right. And he crushed him pretty good too.
He did.
I like to see how these two worlds are starting to kind of come together. It's like you see that point at when you look down the road and the road comes together. That's kind of how I feel like these two worlds are merging. It's like you can start to see how things are slipping and sliding a little bit, and it's getting tighter and tighter together because it's so mirrored now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you because there's that whole
Like
conspiracy.
I'm having a hard time differentiating, between the two worlds in terms of how is this person, how is the captain feeling here and not aware that she's feeling this way in the other world at this very moment. It's like I'm trying to separate the thoughts that they would be having in these two worlds.
I am having increasing trouble differentiating between the worlds, and I think that's a good thing. I think that
Yeah, because they're coming together. It's like they're getting closer or something.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we go back to the car, and this is the point where Britain gets knocked out by Bird because he's like, oh, okay, reach into my pocket, you get whatever. What was he reaching for? His cell phone? Yeah, he was reaching for his cell phone to call that kid at Google, right?
Right.
He gets knocked out. How convenient. So he gets knocked out. He got beat up pretty bad when he woke up. He actually had a busted nose, and he was bleeding a lot from his head. So Bird messed him up. And he's escorted to the captain at the police station after they find out, obviously, what the password is from the Red World.
right.
And they give the captain the evidence and say, this is it. This is what's going on. This is what I found out. They obviously don't know the captain's involved.
And she's thinking, I am so screwed right now. What can I do to prevent this from coming to fruition?
Or prolong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And she's going to just tell him how crazy he is. And that's actually what I wanted to say this earlier. I know the doctors aren't in conspiracy against him at all, but I almost feel like they are in a sense because they are so, they're doctors, but they're so objecting to everything that he knows in his gut that's happening. And I'm wondering if if anyone's talked to the therapist and they're in on it.
well, they are police precinct assigned therapists.
Right.
It's not like their private practice.
I
you
really
know?
just get the sense that they're
They're in on it,
They're
yeah.
in on it, and they're trying to convince him otherwise of what he thinks is true.
Yeah, I've never once heard them say anything like supportive of
Right.
his
Yeah.
gut feelings. So
The only person I would say would be, obviously, Evans. She would be the only person who would have been, the doctor. She would have been supportive of his gut feelings a little bit. But then beyond that, of course, she's a therapist. She wants him to say, okay, this is our real world. The other
Right.
one's fake.
right.
Right. But at the same time, they seem, and yeah, but they just seem so
Like, no, that's dumb.
yeah,
You're awake.
Like they don't
No.
even give him the opportunity. It's like boom, no, eat, nope, don't eat. Shh. That's how they are to him.
And good therapists will let you figure it out on your own. They don't tell you this is what you're feeling, this is how you're thinking, so they never let him get there.
Right. They're not letting him talk through it to kind of come to his senses in his own way. But
I'm with
anyway,
you. I'm with
yeah,
you.
I think
Yeah.
we'll see that next week.
But anyway,
Absolutely.
back to the captain.
Yeah.
So she's left alone with this laptop. she has the opportunity to call. She tells
Porn.
Bird that like he can.
Kristen, stop.
Yeah, stop talking about porn every AfterBuzz TV show that we
Wait,
have.
what did you say? Did you say
She said
that?
porn again.
Well, she's like,
obsessed with
she's
it.
alone with the laptop, and so I just said
So
porn.
Harper's gonna look up like
Right.
lesbian porn or something.
Right, exactly. Sorry, I'm overtired
Use
tonight.
here at AfterBuzz, okay? Anyway, so she tells Bird that he can go amass like this small group to go look at what is the Westfield Center to see if there's still drugs there. But she still has time to like make a call.
Yeah, she does.
And be
And they're probably ready for that. They're probably ready to make a move when they
Right.
have to. So chances are they ain't finding any drugs.
Right. And Britain's stuck in jail.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's where we leave off the episode.
Right.
So that was a very interesting episode. I was excited the whole time watching it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
How do we think she's involved, the captain? How did she get involved? Did they pull her in? Is she an orchestrator of this whole thing, or is she just kind of being dragged by her hiney a little bit?
I think she's being dragged into it in some ways, and I think
Because we
so-
saw
a
her
part
getting
of
emotional
Yeah.
and feeling guilty.
Yeah, and that was that in the Red World that was happening. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
can't
like
tell either.
that was in the Red World. No, take it back. It was in the Green
I'm
World.
trying to
It was
think
the
of
Green
the,
World
the color they have on the camera
Because
filter,
he
but I
was
can't picture
saying-
what it was.
They killed my wife. And that's where like,
Wow.
Oh, that
she
was
had compassion.
Yeah, that was in the Green World with the whole laptop thing.
And that's where she got emotional, though.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So she got emotional in both worlds. She got emotional when she was in the Green World, sitting at her desk, and she was emotional when she was on the rooftop.
On the rooftop,
In
yeah.
the Red World.
That's what I
that's
was-
true.
That's
when
what
she
I
was
was
clearing
thinking.
her mind, I guess, from everything that's happening.
But at the Red World, she was also like yelling at Vega. You know, she
Yeah.
was like, "Yo, from all your experience, you know about this. Like,
she
you know,
had-
you save your compassion for Bird. Like,
Yeah.
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 It must be that she's feeling torn between maintaining that illusion, of her being the captain and trying to, well, not just the captain, the crooked captain. How about that? She's maintaining the illusion of being the crooked captain in her mind. Maybe she doesn't want to do it. Maybe she doesn't want to, sell the drugs and get all that drug money, whatever, be involved with
bet.
that. And then the other part of her is like, I want to do the right thing, and that's why she's up there,
Yeah.
on the rooftop trying to clear her mind.
kill herself.
But
I hope
when
she kills
when you
herself.
corner somebody, like she's cornered right now, when you're cornered, you tend to attack or you tend to get very defensive. So her behavior, I think, might unravel her a little bit. Once she shows her nerves or her paranoia or something, she might lose her cool, and maybe other cops might see that and then catch on to her. Or someone will see. I think Vega might see past her defensiveness and look into her. I really think that Vega's going to be the one to come in and save the day.
Yeah, I think you're right, and you brought that up when we were off air, and that's a really good point. I like
It's a really
Vega.
good point for having no idea what's going on.
I like how Vega was really sticking up for Britain. I thought that was
Right,
really
yeah.
cool.
Right.
And I didn't expect it actually.
Yeah.
Part of me didn't expect it until I saw him like at the briefing, and he's
When
like,
he
"Wait,
came out and he
what's
looked very
going on?"
concerned.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what's this manhunt for Britain? No way.
Right.
No way.
Yeah,
Right.
because he hasn't been that
They've butted heads.
protective of him. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And because he's the youngest, he gets to prove himself. This would be his opportunity to really prove himself that I'm not an idiot. I'm not this just young detective that doesn't know what he's doing. So he's the underdog that's going to come out from the shadows and throw shit down.
Are we in predictions? What's going on?
No,
I don't know what else to talk
probably
about.
shouldn't. We're gonna move into. We should take a commercial break now because we're finishing up.
But
with
wait,
the
I have
green
something to
world.
say.
Oh, you have something to
Yeah,
say? Okay,
come
well
on, guys.
after whatever your statement is, we'll actually go into our taped commercial break, and then we'll talk about.
Let me just quickly
a
say
little
this
bit about
before
the
we go.
doctor stuff and all that.
So it's just really quick. I
Yeah, go
feel
ahead.
like the captain is in love with Britain. I feel like she has these in love
Ooh.
feelings for him.
In both worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I do.
I think you're right. When she and him were reminiscing a couple episodes ago, and they almost had a moment like
They, made eyes.
Maybe they liked each other, when they first met on the Force or whatever.
Maybe
Right.
they dated.
Right.
you
That's
know?
where her emotions are coming from.
Yeah, because we don't know anything about the characters like previous history together,
Correct.
really.
Because she said when they were talking about taking out Bird and Britain, she said we're talking about two decorated detectives here. She seemed really protective to say that about Britain,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then they said no, we're talking about one, and then one who's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's just a theory that I have.
That's
Yeah,
good.
good
That's a
theory.
really
That
good
was it.
point. I
What
like
are we
that.
in predictions?
Well, with that, we will go to our tape commercial break.
Hey everybody, John Comerford here. I've got my Mad Men with me.
Kevin Indigaro.
Phil Svitek.
For all you fans of Mad Men, we're your AfterBuzz TV hosts of Mad Men. Every Sunday, right after the show, 9:30, we're breaking down the episode.
You can also check us out on iTunes and YouTube the following morning.
We're going to get into the imagery, the symbolism, the structure. We give you all the information on Mad Men that the other podcasts out there don't.
Very insightful. You're going to love it. Check us out. Please.
Hello, everybody. We are the LA Complex crew, and we are here with Andre Fuller from the LA Complex, who plays Caldrick King. And you can catch LA Complex every Tuesday night on the CW at 9 o'clock. After that, come to our AfterBuzz TV show where we do a recap of the LA Complex. We talk about Raquel, we talk about sex tapes, we talk about, relationships, and you can catch us live at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, AfterBuzzTV.com. If you can't catch us live, go ahead and swing over to YouTube the next day. You can rate, you can comment, watch us, iTunes, same thing, download, rate, comment, and we would love to hear your feedback, and we love to support, guys, so please, please, please support us and support the LA Complex. Buzz you later.
Guys, this is the AfterBuzz TV crew for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Woo! Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. to see
Adrienne Barrow,
Deanna Vaughn,
Susan Hahn,
Giselle Ugardi.
Buzz you later!
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
And we are back. So again, I'm Sean Overman, here with
Anna Koppel.
Why don't you say my name for me? I'm sick of saying my name.
Kristen Carney.
Thank you.
It
Say
took
my name, say my name.
that much effort, Kristen.
I can't say my name. I have a speech
I'm
impediment.
kind of crazy. Oh, shady.
That's
maybe?
okay.
Whatever.
You're modest.
It's true.
So we are back here buzzing at AfterBuzz TV about Awake. This one was called Two Birds, season 1, which is going to be the last season, sadly. Episode
We're going
12.
to fight for it, guys.
Yes,
we're
let's
going to
fight.
fight for it.
And what was interesting, we didn't talk about the meaning of the, it's kind of obvious what the meaning of the episode's name was, because mostly it was about Bird in each episode. Like, he had a lot to do with what was going on in each of the realities.
Right.
So, the doctors, let's talk about them. Not too much. Kind of light on the doctors a little bit.
I know, they're kind of my favorite part, too.
I know. I want to hear them, I like hearing them talk about what's going on inside Britton's mind, because he's that's the only way he gets to express himself, really, about what's going on in his mental state. So Evans obviously was telling him that, it was so interesting how you presented these clues to yourself and you were able to understand them in that other world, and here. But then we see Lee, and he's saying that, okay, you have crafted a paranoid delusion, which is seemingly the opposite of what Evans does. But then this time, eventually, as the two doctors are it's going back and forth between them at the beginning of the episode. And we have Evans actually start to agree with what Lee's saying, right?
Right.
So that happened, and...
So, hold on. Do you think that that's, like, a clue that the Red World might be...
That's a good point.
Well, I don't know. I mean, just asking.
I don't know either. But I thought it was interesting how Lee brought up how memories are notoriously unreliable.
Truth talk.
And I've studied this a lot in my criminal justice classes back in the university. And, you'll have people like Evan said, people will be wrong, in trial, and they'll say like, no, even if there's like videotape evidence or something, or real physical evidence that says that whatever their memory was faulty, right? People will like say, no, that's not how I remembered it at all. And they've done studies about this. They've had studies in universities where they've had like 100 or 200 kids in the room, the stadium seating things, and they'll have someone come out, and it's like a fake kind of hold up, but it's unexpected. And when that person leaves, like the suspect leaves, the professors come out and they say, hey, here's a survey. What did the person look like? What were they wearing? How was their hair? What was the color of their skin? Whatever. And people's descriptions vary so much. Like,
but they always say that they're like black, right?
Yeah, right.
They'll say it's completely different. Like they'll say like it's a Hispanic dude, with dark hair, when it was actually like a white guy with brown hair.
Right.
Who knows?
I actually participated in one of those studies, and it was different than that. But yeah, one of my dear friends, Stephen Frenda. I feel like I'm shouting out a lot of my friends tonight, and I don't mean to be, but name dropping. Yeah, Stephen Frenda, not a big deal. But yeah, he's getting his degree in that whole area. And so
Criminal justice?
Not in criminal justice,
Criminalistic?
but no, but like specifically
psychology?
Psychology, but specifically let me use my words. Okay. But specifically having to do with memory. And that like a lot of court cases, like you were talking about, people have like these they showed me in the study like pictures, and then they would say like, well, what color was the dog? Like brown, and there's no dog,
Oh man.
I clearly remembered a brown dog that was there.
Wow.
Like it was there,
That's amazing. So you like
That's why it's so scary.
made something
That's why
out of nothing.
It's suggestive. It's coercion.
Right. And that's why it is so scary when you have a jury of 12 people who are listening to somebody swear about something. Swearing to something under oath doesn't mean that actually doesn't mean there was a brown dog.
Right.
And then people's lives are,
In the balance.
taken away
or their
or
freedoms.
saved because of that.
Or their freedoms are taken away, which is just as bad.
So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Other than taking away someone's life, taking away the freedom's the next worst thing. But it's actually pretty interesting how people can be, like you were saying, sworn. Like there's someone who's swearing that they're telling the truth or whatever, and they'll be coerced by that. Like the jury will be coerced by like how they look, how they're dressed, their appearance, and then if they're a police officer or not, and if they're a scientist or a doctor or whatever.
Right.
Oh, they have all these credentials behind them. They must be telling the truth.
Right.
So interesting stuff.
Yeah, very neat.
I don't know how we got here, but
but I like it.
Yeah. So overall, what changed? What changed with you guys over there? Like during the show, like what are some big things that happened?
Well,
That's final
that was my brain.
It just felt right. But But then I looked at your faces and it didn't feel as right.
No, it was right.
In my mind. What's the psychology
It's been my
behind that?
favorite so far.
I think I saw an exclamation mark over your head.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe after I said something, it would have been more appropriate.
Okay, well, say something good now.
Okay. Well, we learned that, now I'm going to have to whip this bad boy out. There we go. That Carl Kessel is the captain of the Western Division.
And that was a big deal. Holy crap. The whole time, through the whole series, we're thinking that he was a businessman. I was thinking he was a businessman who just was like having some kind of sway.
Little did we know.
Yeah.
Captain of the Western Division.
Yeah.
So,
we saw one other guy, though, earlier in the season, and we haven't seen him come back. It wasn't Kessler.
Who?
He was like balding, and now I'm becoming the person who's talking about the brown dog. I'm like, no, I swear there was a guy. He was heavier, he was more of a broad-shouldered guy. He was different. He might have just been a side character that was in a conversation that didn't matter at all. But I've been waiting for him to come back.
For the record, I love the word heavier set for fat people.
No, he wasn't, Ronnie. No. He literally wasn't fat though.
But what is heavy set? That's the greatest.
He was like,
I love it.
He was like. He was broad-shouldered, basically. Like he was like a big dude.
He was thick and rich on top.
Yeah, thick and rich.
I like that. I've never heard that one. That's a good one.
Like he looked like a big guy who probably doesn't eat that much. He's just a big guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, semantics.
So also overall, we see that there's solid proof to Britain, because Britain didn't know any of this evidence. We hear from Carl. Now we call him Kessel or whatever,
right.
And we hear from him in his exchanges between him and the captain that, oh, there's a heroin, in storage. We gotta get rid of it. We gotta get Britain off our butts, right?
Right.
So now Britain knows that there's heroin in storage, and it has happened. It's been there ever since his accident.
Yeah,
pretty much.
The thing is, okay, so they tried to kill. So they tried to kill Britain. However, they had no idea that it would cause him to live in two worlds to solve the. To actually come full circle and solve his murder, his potential murder.
Yes.
They think they're going to hit him and get rid of him. It's not like they had this big plan to make, his life a living hell.
And they
were just trying to kill the guy, and now all of a sudden they've got this monster they've created, really.
It's almost like somebody trying to kill a superhero and before he becomes a superhero and he gets all these powers.
Right, exactly.
And he comes
That's
back
really
and
what they did to him.
them.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's badass.
I don't know if you guys have seen Darkman, but that kind of reminded me of Darkman. It was a movie with Liam Neeson, first movie I ever saw with him back in the day. He's a scientist who makes prosthesis for burn victims.
Oh.
The mob kills him, and he ends up being a burn victim himself. And he exacts his revenge upon them, and he's able to use the prosthetic masks to make himself look like the mob guys.
Wow, nice.
And he sneaks in there and he kills them all.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson's Kristen's awesome.
You guys, what happened to the baby? What happened to
Exactly.
Nothing this episode.
Miscarriage.
In the red world, we know that Emma's still there, but it didn't show her at all. It showed her in the green world on the webcam.
Right. But did we talk about the baby at all?
No.
Was there any mention of the baby last week?
I don't know. I feel like we're like missing the baby.
Is the baby really important compared to
I mean,
Britain's
it's
struggle?
not, but it was also like a big, that was a big altering storyline because it
was.
kept them from going to Oregon.
Yeah, and also that serial killer,
dropped off
Gemini.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remembered his name.
Yeah. It was psychic. We got it at the same time.
We did.
We're connected. They probably would have carried that into season 2. So
Yeah.
But anyway, tears, guys.
So clues between the world. Obviously, there has to be one in practically every episode. We had the tulip one, so he was able to get, and it wasn't like one of those. It was cool because it was subtle. It wasn't like one of those obvious ones like the formula.
Right, where there's an actual tulip on his head.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, exactly. So he was able to extract that info from the red world and then bring it to the green world, which was pretty good.
Yeah. I like this episode a lot.
Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah, and speaking of, like, a lot of people, we had that hacker in there. A lot of people in previous episodes, I thought they were going to go with a guy who was playing video games, Speaking of video games, if you guys love video games, and instead of spending...
I feel like when we do these live reads, we go back to 1950 or something.
Yeah.
It's like we go back to like the 30s, the way they did radio. It's adorable.
It's better like that.
Yeah, it's adorable. I love it.
It's interactive.
It is.
So, if you guys like video games, I'm sure I do. I love video games, and I don't get as much of the opportunity to play them as much as I can. But instead of spending $60 to $70, damn jobs and like moonlighting as a host. So instead of spending $60 to $70 every time on a video game and then being disappointed by it,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, or having your parents shell out tons of dough for you, why not go to GameFly.com, which is the perfect solution. It's pretty much like the Netflix of video games.
That sounds awesome.
That is a really good idea.
What?
So
How much is it?
It's actually it's a pretty reasonable price, actually, and you can actually go there and you get a 15-day free trial.
What?
When you sign up. Exactly. Yeah. No what. It's a yes. You do. You get that.
How awesome is that?
Now, how do they get to Gamefly.com?
So you can actually go through our website. You go to AfterBuzzTV.com, and we'll have the GameFly logo up there. So
this
you
is
guys
unbelievable.
Can click on it, and the AfterBuzz TV fans get that 15-day free trial.
It's all pretty simple. You want the 15-day free trial. That's a big deal. Obviously, if you're a gamer, like, this is a big, big thing for you, and we found out about the deal, so we're passing it on. So simple, 15-day free trial, gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV. It's like that easy. So get hooked up with your Xbox, your Wii's, all that. That didn't sound right. Get hooked up with all your video game consoles, and that's just like something we wanted to pass on to you guys while we're talking about Awake. So
that's awesome.
Thank you.
And then, you know what? If you decide you love the game, you can purchase it on Amazon, also through our website. So
exactly.
So AfterBuzz is kind of becoming like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
It's for all things media.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's amazing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely
We're
agree.
coming up in the world. Just saying.
So getting back to our show, we actually are going to do some news and gossip now.
Okay.
Yay.
Is that me?
Oh, do you want to start off?
Oh, you
have some
start.
stuff?
You start.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, I will go ahead and start.
You
Anna.
start.
Thank you. I actually was checking out the news on Awake, doing my little Bing searches and whatnot. And Bing is for doing, by the way. And today I was doing my searches, and and I found this website called change.org, www.change.org, and there's an Awake. Renew Awake NBC petition, pretty much. And as of earlier today at around, earlier this evening, actually, I was checking out about before 9 o'clock, and there were 411 out of 1,000 signatures needed that were already signed by that time. So they just need 1,000 signatures needed, and they're going to turn this into the people over at NBC and say, hey, we love Awake, let's renew it again.
They only need 1,000 signatures to hand it into them?
For this particular website, yeah.
Wow.
Change.org.
Okay, cool. You guys go there.
So it's very intriguing, check that out. Also, obviously, the Awake, the Awake NBC actual Facebook, they have a lot of people following them now. Before we were talking about, they're getting really close to 100,000 likes on there, and they actually have surpassed that already. They're at 101,200 something likes.
It's awesome.
And at the time when I took the snapshot on my iPad, we had there were 6,400 people talking about it at 10 o'clock, which was obviously when it was starting.
that's pretty
It
good.
is so difficult when it comes to these Facebook and petitions because like you really do get riled up in it. You want the show to go back, but I want to say that I spent like countless hours, days even, like when How to Make It in America got canceled, like trying to do all the petitions. But sadly, sometimes you just gotta
give in.
You gotta like enjoy the last episode. So
and that's exactly
unfortunately.
That's exactly actually what Kyle Killen said. He wanted people to enjoy the ride of the last two, the finales.
Yeah, he did.
So anyway, there are so many other Renew Awake for a second season sites and Facebook pages out there. There's tvseriesfinale.com / whatever Awake petition, and then you can search these and Save Awake official on Facebook. There's 4 other Facebook things. Bring Back Awake, Keep Awake on Air.
They should have one. They should have one.
Wake up awake.com.
No, they should have. Yeah, they should have one. Stayawake.com.
That would be cool.
That would be the most obvious one. That would make the most sense.
I love how TV. It's like there is a petition for everything. Like you want to see your one actor, you want to see them more on the show. There's petitions for that. For canceled shows. I mean, it's really petition crazy these days.
Yeah.
Internet, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And the one that you brought up to me off air, Anna, was the Bring Back Awake one.
Right.
And I like that one as well.
Great.
I'm actually doing a petition right now for you 3 to just
Just move on with the show.
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm still creating a petition.
Anna, did you have any
I
news?
did. Well, there was a great interview that came out this morning with Kyle Killen. And I brought it on because it was interesting. There are so many of the things that we've talked about throughout the entire season was discussed in this interview. And then you had mentioned earlier, Sean, that about Lone Star and whatever, and Kyle Killen, or maybe that was you. One of you brought it up.
'Twas me.
'Twas you. He has like this bad. You mentioned his Twitter status. That's what it was.
Bio.
He has this bad luck. He also wrote the screenplay for The Beaver, which starred Mel Gibson, and that movie was delayed because of Mel Gibson's sort of behavior.
Right.
But that was also a story about a man with a dual personality, which is interesting. And Lone Star was a man about a con man who's leading a dual life. So, that seems to be like a running theme with Kyle Killen.
Which show was Lone Star? That was it a Fox show?
It's a Fox show.
Yeah.
Oh, that only had like 2 episodes, right?
Yes.
It was good. I mean, those 1.5 episodes.
It was great.
Sorry. I got into that.
Anyway, so they asked some of the stuff that we've been talking about. Does Michael Britton experience sleep? Is he sleep deprived? So Killen says that, it's one of the first things that B.D. Wong's character points out, that technically he's asleep for a seemingly normal amount of time, but he never is really experiencing full sleep because of the REM cycle we've discussed. So I'm just, we've been right, guys. We've been right. Pat yourself on the back. Did the idea of Michael being a cop provide you with a good way of letting the two worlds overlap each other? Or was that something added because procedurals often do well on television? And that's something we've discussed over and over again. Like, why was it a cop show for a reason? Or
right.
And he said he didn't know how well procedurals do or don't do, but I don't know what the verdict is on them thriving, but it absolutely provides you with a crystal clear want, need, something to do on a weekly basis, and as a viewer, something to enjoy on a weekly basis, something to see resolved on a weekly basis.
That's what I thought.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah,
almost.
They need to close some threads at the end of the episode to make it feel complete, but yet keep that overarching thing going. So, and
so then Cherry Jones. So that role originally called for a 28-year-old.
Oh wow, that would have been a really young therapist.
Right, and so they had a 28-year-old female, like she's supposed to be right out of grad school or whatever, and put her against Jason Isaac, and they're like, this doesn't work. There's just no way that this is gonna work.
Yeah, they need like more of a motherly type.
Exactly, and so
that's why we got her.
So that's what they said, that she's the epitome of someone who knows what she's talking about. And Killen says that's exactly right, but she does it in a way that still feels warm and like she cares about you and she's concerned, and she's fantastic.
Why don't you guys go back to the first episode we did, and that's exactly what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
Called it.
And it was Oregon, so it was episode 5.
Episode 5, but it was the first one that we actually
did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Okay.
Awesome.
And they also asked if Michael might have romance in the sun in the green world, and they said that they would explore that.
With Tara, right?
They didn't say with Tara specifically, but they said they would explore that. Then this is just a little... Did somebody else want to go? I have 2 more things, but
no,
we can take turns.
I don't have anything, so...
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, then I'm just going to go on. So this is just like a cute little thing. There's this like cultural phenomenon, I guess we'll call it, that people are saying hello to Jason Isaacs, like in that phrase, hello to Jason Isaacs. I just want to say hello to Jason Isaacs. And it started on this BBC Film Radio podcast. And the guy who does the podcast, I guess he went to school with Jason Isaacs in like the mid 70s and had a schoolboy crush on him, he says.
Whoa.
And, but this hello to Jason Isaacs has been popping up more and more. And
so do people tweet this or Facebook post it?
Eagle-eyed viewers of The Tonight Show with Jay Leno will have noticed its appearance in some of the Chatfest visual bits. One attendee at the 2011 Jon Stewart organized March for Sanity carried a banner bearing the slogan. And since February of this year, anyone using the UK version of Google to search the actor's name has been met with the message, hello to Jason Isaacs, at the top of the webpage. So
British.
So British.
He's a Brit actor. He's a great Brit actor.
So he said that he'll be like walking and people will say, oh, I just want to say hello to Jason Isaacs. So I think that's adorable. And then so he has this relationship with these people, and he had this challenge to say ukulele on the show. And so that's why...
You mean on Awake?
On Awake. And that's why on March 22nd, Awake viewers heard Isaac's Detective Britton utter the line, he's not going to be playing the ukulele in heaven while examining a corpse with those fingers. That had been badly mangled. So then he and the editor, I guess, got in a whole fight about that. And he's like, no, that is the line that stays. Like, if I'm ever going to throw my producer pants around, like, yeah. So that's that. Then I have a whole bunch of stuff on NBC about how they're probably going to go bankrupt and they're crazy. Is anybody interested in that?
Wow.
Yeah.
You can do a 2-sentence thing on it. How
Yeah,
about that?
the quick version.
They weren't counting their DVR as part of their audience.
Oh.
They were only counting 3 days instead of 7.
What? Who's running?
Ted Harbert. After they canceled shows and renewed shows, they were like, maybe we should count DVR playback for all 7 days. So had they done that, maybe they would have, kept Awake first and foremost. But, Harry's Law, which is one of their highest rated shows ever. Not ever, but, in the last couple of years, certainly. Anyway.
Interesting.
Mistakes people make.
Well, they could be using any reason to axe a show. You know? So that's just, I'm sure that's just one of them that's like, oh, we could have saved it, but
we're dumb.
We'll let it slip.
We'll let it go.
All right, so let's go ahead and move into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
The lights.
The
I love it, Ronnie. Humna.
You're welcome. Gamefly hooked that up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gamefly.
The light switch.
A light switch.
So, did you
rave
guys
in here?
Did you guys have any predictions, or shall I start?
I mean, you should start because I think I already did mine like 20 minutes ago.
Well,
as I so kindly pointed out.
Obviously, this was a really exciting episode, the most exciting of the season. I wish we had more like this. We're gonna see everybody next episode. Obviously, gonna get their comeuppance. Okay. Obviously. And I want to see the worlds get more intertwined, more hallucinations in the last episode, and I don't think that the world separation between green and red is going to be resolved. I think that the way the writers probably had it going was maybe it was going to go into another season and they were going to resolve it, but it's the way.
No.
Obviously, because of the cancellation, I don't think there's going to be a resolution.
I can't have that happen. It'll be like, Christmas morning, and then my presents never came.
Or you got a worse present than you were expecting.
Which is usually Mom.
Instead of getting Awake, you got Whitney. Oh,
right.
Burn.
It's funny because I was going to comment on Whitney about NBC, but I held my tongue.
Yeah, I didn't. Whoops.
Good.
Okay. Well, I predict absolute disappointment. I'm very sad that the show is ending.
Aww.
And, you know, if there's anything we could do to save it, let's do that.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Well, I predict that the captain will be thwarted by Vega. That's kind of like my one thing. She'll be taken down by Vega, and the truth will be shown. Because I think they have to do that, even though I know there's not a season 2. If there was going to be a season 2, I feel like that would have to be resolved. If the red and green world wasn't going to be resolved, the one thing I feel like that's going to be resolved is justice for Britain.
Yeah.
Justice for Britain.
I agree.
And Emma and Hannah raised the baby together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The end.
And the baby has Down syndrome. No, I'm just kidding. What?
Oh, no.
No, I don't know.
Oh, so they give it up for adoption.
Right. No, but yeah.
Horrid. That was horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess you're not thinking the red and green worlds would really resolve, but I just want to know who's alive. The brother or the son or the wife.
That's so much to ask.
I know. That's literally all I want. So please, I'm begging you.
I want to know too.
Yeah. If it's not in an episode, just tweet it to me.
Yes,
Kyle.
please.
Just let me know.
Leonard, let us know.
Yeah, Leonard or Kyle.
Yes. So anyway,
well, thank you so much for joining. We will be back here tonight. Please remember to rate and comment us on YouTube and iTunes. And who are you?
I am Sean Overman.
Where can we find you?
And you can find me on Twitter at Sean_Overman or SeanOverman.org to cure your Netflix syndrome.
And you can find me at sweatthesmallstuffwithkristen.com and like it on Facebook. If you're ever annoyed in life, that's the site to go to. And follow me on Twitter at Kristen Carney.
And I'm Anna Koppel, and you can follow me on Twitter at Koppel4Mayor. And have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.